The EarSauce Podcast.
Yeah.
Guys, have you seen this? Have you seen this thing happen like earlier in the week with? Well, it's actually last week, end of last week now, with Lil Uzi and Young Miami. Have you seen this?
Yeah, the thing with Carisha and Southside.
I actually forget the rap names for the city girls. I know one's JT and there's the other one, Young Miami. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Young Miami's Carisha, and I think JT's going out of Lil Uzi.
That's right. So
Yeah,
basically, what I understand was that what you see in the video at least is that Lil Uzi's in the car with JT, and he calls up. Or no, he's on. What's it called? Instagram Live, innit? With Young Miami, and then basically he just starts chatting a bag of shit and saying something about how he owns her or something like that, and she's clearly a bit confused as to what's going on. But I guess she's thinking to herself, she don't really want to, it's a friend's boyfriend. She don't want to be like making up no drama with him, and she just confused as to why he's even coming on that sort of talk. And then, then next thing you know, after he eventually puts the phone down after badding up JT as well on the chat, basically Southside, who's kind of isn't dating Young Miami. Like Southside's like a bit of a legendary producer in Atlanta. He's produced a lot of songs for like Future and Waka Flocka Flame as well, and some other people, Gucci Mane, whoever, people from Atlanta basically. Anyway, he come on like saying on a bad man tip, saying he doesn't understand what the fuck Lil Uzi's even talking about, how he's even trying to talk to his woman like that, or saying he said one of his bitches, just to make it right, just to make it clear what he said. And I was like, that was joking. But the bit that killed me is the second he said that killed me. He said that it was him that stopped
Offset
from robbing Lil Uzi. And I'm like, what? When did this happen? When did Offset try to rob Lil Uzi? I was so confused. He started just dropping also nuggets in that little rage attack. But man, I was creasing.
Isn't Southside Young Miami's baby daddy as well? That's why he was so defensive.
Yeah.
But apparently Uzi was like joking. And I think this happened on April Fool's, so I guess someone's a fool. But stupid is a stupid does.
I don't think that Young Miami found it funny and clearly stops at them.
Yeah, no shit. It was very disrespectful. Like it was a bit like he came on like some next site and was just like, look at the jewels, look at everything. Like, girl, you can't talk to me nice kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
I will say this though, yeah. I was surprised by one thing in that video, and it's because of the fact that Lil Uzi doesn't ever. At least most of the time I see Lil Uzi on social media because I don't follow him. So if I see the clips, it's mostly like something he's done that's gone viral or something in the shade room. But anyway, when I see him, he never seems that masculine. I think I've seen one time. I think it was him and Rich the Kid saw each other somewhere in New York or something, and he was going to fight him. He was actually stood his ground ready to fight. But that's the only other time I've seen him like masculine. But with this one, yeah, he said something to JT. He said, "If I turn around right now and kiss you, what are you gonna do? You're gonna just let me kiss you? You're gonna let me put my tongue down your throat?" And I was like, what?
God damn!
Yeah, I was like, shit. Like, I was kind of talking a bit reckless like here. Like, I didn't know that's how he was. Like, I just thought to myself he was basically like a little girl all the time. But no, he was obviously, he has a way that he switches up when he needs to. I guess I think maybe anyone can have their fun, innit? Like when they're messing about. But it seems like he's got a psych about him as well when he needs to. So that was interesting to see.
Sounds like he was talking with hella chest and he sprouted one of the burliest chests known to man. Jesus flipping Christ. That is ridiculous. That is actually.
But I do notice that he never came back at Southside when So I'm assuming that he just
that's an offline conversation.
Yeah, he seckled himself after that one.
Maybe he regulated offline as well. Who knows? Or maybe he gives up all his juices in that one retort.
Well, I say, listen, you find out. The way to find out, is this. Yeah, next time he's in Atlanta, does he get robbed? That's the easiest way. Like if he does, then you know how it went, how that conversation went.
You know what they say? It goes down in the DMs.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I got nothing. That's why the tumbleweed noise just.
Okay, look, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Follow us on Instagram, EarSauce_. Follow us on Twitter, EarSauce_.
This is episode 30, guys.
Episode 30.
That is for 30 weeks.
30
whole weeks. Jesus.
I'm loving it. Thank you, listeners, for being with us.
Appreciate your listenership.
Yeah, of course. To new listeners, old listeners, we love you guys. We love you. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get it cracking. Let's get onto a project real quick. And you know what? I think we should actually start with a female artist because I'm actually quite excited about her. To be honest with you, I only learned about this young lady about 3 hours ago.
Yeah, well, I kept drilling it into you guys. Like, make sure you did,
but like you didn't. Like you need to supply the thing as well, man. You're like, let's go. Like, send the link in it, fam. Like, you come on.
It's not only that, but the last time you tried to recommend the female album, it was some lady awful. Talking to me in a soothing voice.
No.
Same old me.
Ollie.
Close your eyes.
Calmness.
No. Hold on. Let's be honest. All my recommendations when it comes to females, I've usually like Tems is one. A Marie is another one. You guys were in love with A Marie.
All I can say, man,
A Marie.
You are
one
suspects.
thing.
You are suspects, man. That's all I can say.
Well, from my recollection, you're batting 1 for 2. You're at 50% success rate.
Yeah, right. I didn't even indulge in whatever Matt was saying.
Wait, Manny, honestly, you're not on a good one, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna.
Yeah. He's on a good one now. He's on a good one now.
He's not. You know.
Yeah,
undefeated when it comes to recommendations right now.
My recommendations are harder than what's it called? Matt's recommendations. Right?
Our listeners want to know what artists we're talking about here. So, Manny, as you were the person that recommended this young lady, could you do the honors of introducing her to our listeners?
Yes, of course. So we're talking about Tems. We've reviewed her album for Broken Ears. Tems is an artist based in Nigeria, I believe. I'm not sure if she signed to. I think she may be in business with or she frequently collaborates with Wizkid. She's UK as well, but I think she's moved back. She was born in Nigeria, moved to the UK, and then moved back to Lagos. She's like alternative R&B mixed in with Afro beats as well. But yeah, let's go into her album for Broken Ears. So, I thought the album was really, really good. Her vocals are crazy, man. She has a really nice voice. Do you guys agree?
I agree. She has a lovely voice, but I don't know if I'd say that what she makes is alternative R&B. I think it's actually quite mainstream, to be honest with you. I think I don't want to hijack what you're saying here, but I think one of the things that I was thinking to myself was, where is she from? Like, I had to go and Google like her upbringing because she was born in the UK, like you said, but she moved to Nigeria by the age of 5. So if you move country at that young age, you shouldn't hold on to an accent. And I know that a lot of British singers, when it's like they sing it with an American accent. I don't know if I agree with that, but they sound more American when they're singing. I agree to that. And she has the same sound. She sounds when she's singing like she grew up in London or New York or wherever. Like
But
I wasn't really expecting her to be someone that had their formative years in Nigeria, but I really liked her sound. Like, I found her project to be a good
well, I
listen.
think it makes sense because she was born to a Nigerian mother and a British father, right? So
Yeah.
that's probably why she still sounds kind of like British because she has that connection. Also, in Nigeria and as well as the country marriage in Ghana, a lot of people speak English. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just realised like, it might be the school she went to as well. Because I know when they go to those
Yeah,
international schools, they do end up with an American accent. So
yeah,
yeah, that is probably what it is. I'm a bit slow there, but yeah.
yeah. No, it's all good. We used to. So moving back into the album. Yeah, I really liked the song Damages. I think Damages is probably like the standout
Big tune.
song.
It's a big tune.
I liked Ice T as well. That was a banging tune. And Free Mind, like she's really talented. And as is this, would you class this as an album? It wasn't. Yeah, it was an album. I think it. No, actually, it's an EP. EP.
It's the EP. It's only like 7 tracks. So yeah,
Yeah. So for
21
an
minutes.
EP, this is really dope, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of her. She has another song out with Wizkid at the moment, which is doing really well. It's called Essence as well. So if you want to hear more of her, listen to that track. Cool.
I
Ollie?
feel like sorry before you go, Ollie, because I feel like I've given half of my review in there. Manny, so I quickly finish round off. Right, I'll say what Manny said. I agree with totally. She's got a lovely voice, and it's let's put it this way: she's not got a Georgia Smith voice. It's more like an LMA voice, and that means what that says to me is that her voice isn't like super amazing, but it's a really nice voice that you want to listen to. It's really smooth. And I really, although I said Damages is probably like the best track on the project, I really quite like the first track, which is called Interference. But every track, there's only 7 tracks, but every track is good. There isn't one that you think is poor, or didn't be on the project. And obviously, there's one interlude. So yeah, that's 6 actual songs with one interlude. But yeah, it's really solid for me. Go ahead, Ollie.
So, based off Manny's previous female recommendation, I wasn't looking forward to this. I don't know why I saved it till last, but hats off, Manny. This album or EP, I thought it was brilliant. I thought she done a phenomenal job. Her voice is powerful. It's not as crazy as someone like Ari Lennox, but it is very, very good, and I just thoroughly enjoyed the album. It flowed from track to track, and the only time I noticed the name of the tracks is when I actually picked up my phone. I was just really enjoying it. It's quite short. It's only 21 minutes. That being said, Damages and Interference, just like Matt, one of my 2 favorite tracks. Interference slaps you in the face. She just sets the tone for the whole album, and it goes from better to better. No, from strength to strength with each track. So I really enjoyed this, and thank you, Manny, for this. This is a little treasure.
I didn't make the album. You thank Tems for it. I just pointed you guys in the right direction. You get me? And I'm not going to take the slander that my recommendations are terrible. My recommendations are hard, right?
I mean, yeah.
No,
Generally they are. Generally they are.
But
But you've had some stinky recommendations, man.
hey, wait, should we go? Wait, I want to see your recommendations. You recommend one next week.
All right, cool. I'll recommend one.
My man's gonna recommend
This guy ain't
Life.
gonna recommend shit, bro.
He's gonna recommend Dark Twisted Fantasies by Kanye West.
Bro, I actually recommended the album, yeah, and no one decided to listen to it. It was Lord Apex and Vidon.
That sounds like some shit from Power Rangers, bro.
I'm saying, just try it out, bro. It's got the Griselda stamp.
Alright, cool. Next week.
Send me a link in it.
Yeah, alright, say no more. Let's get our ratings in though. In fact, I'll share the link.
Yes, for me. With the asterisk of it being an EP, but it's a 4 years for sure.
Yeah, I'll give it 4 as well. I thought it was really solid.
And I'm going to give it a 4 as well. I thought it was brilliant.
Oh, well, wow, that is strange. We've all disagreed together. Like, all right, cool. Might have to put the lottery on. Okay, cool.
Should we say some prayers for DMX?
Yeah, let's go on, man. You are our faith healer. Can you?
All right. Prayers up for DMX. Obviously, and he is an icon. We're hoping he pulls through. Yeah, during the thoughts. It's just crazy. Like, addiction is so serious. People often think like it's something that you can just move on from, but every day is a test for someone that is an addict. And yeah, I don't want to speculate, but I'm just talking about addiction in general. Yeah, in someone like that's been an addict, all it takes is one moment and one wrong decision for things to go left, you know?
Yeah, man. I hear that. This is mad sad because when I was growing up, and I was like getting introduced to hip hop, my brother, DMX was like one of the artists that like was always bumping in my house. And back when I was a kid, when I used to buy CDs, I would always buy a Rough Riders CD when it would come out, or a DMX CD. So I still have most of my CDs now, and I have a lot of DMX stuff on disc. So he's like one of my favorite artists, and I just remember always banging out Grand Champ. So this is kind of sad, and I hope there's some good news. I think they're gonna shut off the machine later this week to see if his brain can function by itself.
I think for me, right, like I've been watching this BET TV show called Rough Riders Chronicles, and I learned so much about DMX and who he is as a person. Like, obviously, everyone knows about his association with dogs and aggression and all that other stuff, but they don't really see how loving he is. Like, one of the reasons he's not as probably rich as he should be isn't just because of the drugs and the amount of kids he's got, but it's the fact that he just gives money away. Like, he gave away $200,000 to a church, a local church to where he grew up, which was facing basically being closed down because they couldn't fund themselves. And I think to myself, like, how many rappers would just do that when they'd most likely spend that money on a chain rather than go and funding something that was important to the community. And he just apparently it's what he's done all the way through his career, just give money away to people that need it. So yeah, it's like to see him in his state is sad. It's sad that he could never overcome his demons, and to read that he's basically in like a vegetative state is, I just don't know what to say about it really. But
just one of those, we've got to wait and see, isn't it? Like, just wish him well.
You do have to wait and see, but it's like it does kind of seem like the writings on the wall, and hopefully it doesn't go that way. But I guess it's one of those things people have to prepare for the worst. And even again, from watching that documentary, I didn't really fully comprehend how big DMX was. DMX is a rapper that I always liked, but I didn't know that his first 5 albums went to number 1 and went platinum as well. I didn't know that he had 2 albums out. I didn't know this one. He had 2 albums out in the first year, in the same year, that went number 1 and went platinum. But not only that, he was the first one to do it. I think he's the only rapper to do it as well of all time. Like, DMX was huge. He was really huge. People don't realize how big he was. But no, big up DMX and prayers up for him. Hopefully he can pull through, although it's not something I'm expecting. But yeah, let's do something a bit more lighter now. Did anyone watch the Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind and Fire?
I watched about 40 minutes of it, 45 minutes.
What do you think?
They
I
old
saw
as
something quick to
hell.
mind.
They old as hell. Do you know what? I actually liked. I haven't watched a lot of versus videos, but I actually liked the format. I thought Steve Harvey was an excellent host, and it was just like a lot of positive vibes, man. Like I didn't realize how much Earth, Wind and Fire and Isley Brothers stuff I didn't know. So
Okay, so I would say the first thing, I feel like the name Versus didn't suit this one at all.
nah, not at all, not at all.
That was more like a well, although they were only performing their own songs, it felt more like a collaboration that was taking place.
Yeah, it was like a celebration of their work. Like the Isley Brothers has spanned 7 decades, bruv.
What?
Since the 50s.
And they're still performing.
7 decades, bruv.
That's crazy. And like when you the bit as well, like when you're listening to the songs, and you're realizing how many songs are being sampled from them and created huge hits after. I think the Shade Room, I keep talking about the Shade Room in it, if it could be sponsored or something, but they had a post a few weeks back about, what was it, Isley Brothers versus The Barge, and like that was showing you the songs that have been sampled in hip hop, that obviously they originally created. And it's crazy how many they had. And I know Earth, Wind and Fire is the same, that they've created a few songs as well that have since been sampled. Like the influence that these two groups have had is huge, and I think for many people they just don't understand quite how huge it is.
They're actually a blueprint for a lot of artists that we like today or love, and some that we do not mention no more. Especially some.
We're gonna mention this one. Such as I'm gonna put it out there straight. Yeah, R. Kelly, right? Nonce or not, right? The guy was a musical genius, and he kind of brought Ronald Isley Brothers back, and like songs like "Contagious," like that was a crazy song. I'm not gonna sing it right now, even though I want to sing it. Yeah, but that song was outrageous, and it was mad that they performed it and they couldn't perform like arguably the best part of the song because of this nonce. But anyway, yeah, it was a really good show. Like you said, Steve Harvey looked like he was enjoying it. I feel like for Steve Harvey, it was probably like him going to one of his raves back in the day, like when he was a young man and seeing two of his favorite bands live. You know what I mean? So he was definitely enjoying.
It was literally. So what was you gonna
say? He took part at one point, didn't he? He jumped in and started singing a bit as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looked like it was a good show. If you get a chance to watch it back, you can watch it back on the Versus Instagram page. I think they on Chiller as well, aren't they? So
yeah,
I don't think it's officially on YouTube, but it's on YouTube.
Yes, it's on YouTube, but it's good with like the audio is fine, but it's like mad zoomed in. But what I will say is that this was like a fanboy moment for Steve Harvey. And you can say that because he spent like, I think it was 11 minutes introducing them both. I feel like he's more Earth, Wind and Fire guy, but like just his stories and then listening to the artist's stories, like the reasoning behind their music, it was mad insightful, and it just made me appreciate their music more. In fact, I'm actually gonna spend some time and work through some of their catalogue. I'm not gonna go through it all, but I'm gonna go through some of it because
I really feel like if you just listen to the greatest hits, I feel like that would not do it justice.
No, you can't do that.
Because as I was going through it, right, and I was looking at some of the comments and some of the tweets that came out from this versus battle, someone's talking about how some of the songs that they performed were actually B-sides to some of the singles that they released. Like that is how strong their catalogue is, that their B-sides are considered classics. Like there's not many artists that can say that, you know. But no, it's incredible. Anyway, let's do another review. What are we reviewing, guys? Which one? Which album?
I mean, it's all gonna go downhill from here.
Interesting. I didn't think that would be the case.
Can we tackle Lil Tjay for next?
No.
Why?
I mean, yeah, we can do that, or we can do Real Walker because my review is gonna be mad short. Real short even. But whatever one you guys want to do.
Let's just do one, guys. Fuck it all. Come on.
Cool, let's
Okay.
do Real Walker.
Okay, so 24 Hours released an album called Real Walker, and I don't know what it is. Like, looking at the featured artists and the genre it is, I should like this album, but I need to listen to it again. I just couldn't get on board, man. I really couldn't get on board, so I just didn't enjoy it at all. It just went from this is okay, like the first track with Ty Dolla $ign, the cheat code, it was good. I enjoyed it, and then it just like slowly dwindled into background noise that I just couldn't process it. I don't know what it was, but I don't want to say it's a bad album because I did notice some good parts while I was listening. But I need to listen to it again. I just didn't want to go through it again, especially because I listened to some other trash this week. It just killed my vibe. But I wasn't enjoying it.
Albums.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're not reviewing Papoose this week, but I'm gonna just put out there that he's basically doing a monthly release of a collection of songs, and February and March just didn't bother listening to them because they're not very good.
No, March is good. March is good.
I will
February,
say this
don't
though,
do that.
I reckon by the end of the year he would have, from all the projects, he probably have about 12, maybe 15 tracks that would make up a good album. But he would have released them separately, so it's shut. Anyway, my review for 24 Hours Real Walker. I like 24 Hours, right? I feel like he's got I like his vibe, the sort of sound he has, right? I kind of think of him as T-Pain light. He's not as talented as T-Pain. I feel like when T-Pain came through, he brought through a whole new sound, not just with the auto-tune, but his general sound was different to everyone else's.
T-Pain light.
But like 24 Hours is clearly he's clearly influenced by T-Pain, but he's not got that same creative step to his music. So I like it, like I said, but it's just not on that same level. Anyway, the point I'm making here now is this: his album has high points in it. I'll tell you maybe 3 or 4 of the songs are actually 3 songs are very good, and maybe 2 more are all right. But then there are some poor songs on the album too. So my favorite song, I think 3TC, which is the first track, was a very good song. And the other one that I quite liked was Who, which had T.I. in it, and Pictures in My Head, which was just him by himself. That was a good song. I can't remember which the last one which I quite liked. I think it was Cisco, maybe. Anyway, my point is that for me to like a project throughout, it needs to be consistently good. And this one isn't that. It's 31 minutes, 12 tracks, and it doesn't manage to maintain its level of quality throughout. So yeah, I'm not gonna say what my score is, but it's just not as. He's released better projects, let's put it that way. Even so, maybe the other projects are shorter. Maybe it's made it easier. Lost My Partner is actually a good track as well. So I think that's the 3TC, Lost My Partner, and Who. And yeah, that's it. So basically the first 3 out of the first 4 tracks on the album, then it kind of goes downhill from there, in my opinion. And it go on, Manny.
That kind of lines up with how I felt about it as well. Then, like, it just declined rapidly for me.
Manny.
Yeah, I'm gonna be straight up. I wasn't feeling this album. I liked 2 songs, still 3TC and Rich Problems, but the rest I was not a fan of. Like, I don't know, it just didn't resonate with me. I feel like his voice wasn't for me. It was a bit like it was. I don't know how to describe it. So he seems like a bland version of all the other rappers out there at the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like his style and everything if you were to compare him to like Roddy Rich or even someone I would rarely listen to, like NBA Youngboy, for example, he wouldn't even be in that. He wouldn't he wouldn't be in the top three of that list. He would be where at the bottom because
I feel like
he's missing
so he said
something.
Roddy Rich and who, sorry?
NBA Youngboy.
Okay, but I feel like they're very different artists to him. And I also feel like them two are
But they're all very melodic. Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm comparing.
they're also two of the biggest artists out, so I would agree with that. Roddy Rich is a very massive mainstream artist.
Like I'm not looking at the size of their eyes. I'm just comparing them on a vocal scale, like, and the songs that they create. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do. But I'm just gonna say to you, all I mean is like it's like you saying like I feel like Drake and J. Cole make better music than Tion Wayne. It's like
no, but I would never say that.
okay.
That's the thing because I actually like Tion Wayne's music, and I probably listen to Tion Wayne more than Drake at the moment. Probably because Tion Wayne releases more. Does that make sense?
I'm having a lot of wild shit right now, but
Hold on.
No
I'm not
comment.
saying Tion Wayne is better than Drake, but if we're doing a comparison situation, like I think that discussion would be much harder to have Tion Wayne, J. Cole, and Drake versus a Roddy Rich, NBA Youngboy, and 24 Hours. Do you guys not agree?
no.
I mean, I get where you're going with this, but the difference for me is that I don't like Tion Wayne and I don't really like 24 Hours.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it doesn't. I'm preaching to the choir. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I feel as though it wasn't for me. I really liked. Not really is a strong word. I liked Rich Problems on it. So everything else, I'm not a fan.
Cool. Did you have a standout song?
Yeah, Rich Problems.
Okay. Alright, so what was your rating?
I'll give this one a 2.
Okay, that's fair. I'd give it a 2 as well.
Oh my god.
Oh, stop it, Ollie. Stop it.
I'm giving it a 2 as well.
Oh,
My favourite track is the first one, 3TC.
Which one, sorry? What's your favourite track?
The one with Ty Dolla $ign.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, apparently these two are actually besties, you know, Ty Dolla $ign and 24 Hours, yeah. And it's supposed to be releasing a joint project together called $24. So I don't know when it's coming out. I feel like a lot of these joint projects get announced and they don't come to fruition. Like I'm still waiting for that Chris Brown and Jonah Lucas project.
I also heard that Rick Ross and Drake might make a project together. That is something that I really want to hear, especially if it's filled with luxury beats and then a few club bangers as well.
Yeah.
I think we're all gonna feel break after listening to that.
We got to get French Montana on that as well.
Do you know what? That actually works, and we've also got to get Jay to throw a verse on there, and Meat Mill as well. I feel like,
of course, and we've got to get Wale to do some spoken word on them.
100%, and we got to get this is going to be a bit out there, but we need to get Ari Lennox to do some sort of chorus or something on one of the tracks.
That's not even out there. Will it be out there? Really?
I don't think she works with either of them. Like she's a different camp, innit?
I'm thinking J. Cole. So yeah.
Ooh, or maybe some Earth Gang as well.
Yeah, we're not gonna get.
This is a dream album.
We're not gonna get MMG X OVO X Dreamville. Like it's not gonna happen.
Do you know what we could get someone from TD on it though. I could see that. Little Kendrick dropping a little few ad libs.
I can't even see that. You know, I feel like Kendrick is being mad like stush at the moment. Like, what's he doing? Why is he not releasing any music?
But he's been dropping ad libs on people's projects.
On TDE artists' projects.
True. We need a TD. No, and he done it on the Dreamville one as well.
Yes, on that he did do that, but that was like 2 years ago now. I think almost.
Coming up to 2 years ago.
There you go. So anyway, he's being mad stingy. He needs to release something. Like at this point, I'm not even really bothered about him. I'm more trying to listen to J. Cole's new thing and Drake's new thing. But if Kendrick drops, then it'd be something to get a bit hyped over, I guess.
Drake disappoints me more with an album release than Kendrick does. I feel like Drake's albums get worse and worse. Not to say they're bad, they're good, but the quality declines from release to release.
Do you know something, right? That is actually true for me with Kendrick. But that is because, for example, I don't like Diamond that much. And I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly has aged badly, but it was really good when it came out. But Good Kid, Mad City is by far his best album. So he's actually just progressively got worse with time for me. But yeah, it's a bit unfair me saying it because when To Pimp a Butterfly came out, that album was crazy. It sounded so good. It's just a case of I can't go back to it now and enjoy it properly.
I can listen to some of the tracks still, like Black of the Berry, Mortal Man, Hood Politics. As an album, it's a bit tough, but it's still good. It's still good. It hasn't got that same impact.
It's not shit. Don't get me wrong, it's not shit. I don't think Kendrick's capable of releasing a shit album, but it's just not it. Anyway.
It's not current or something with the times, is that what you're saying?
It's not really being current, because when you think about it, what it's talking about and stuff like that, and the black struggle and all that sort of stuff, it really should be fitting perfectly this time. It's just aged badly. I don't know if it's because of
the beats
or the whatever. But
it's the beats.
Don't sound good, man.
At the time, he made a classic sound modern again, but then doing that, it quickly fades back to it's an old sound. I want something new. It's so vastly different to what else is out there. That's why it's aged badly.
Yep. Okay, so one of my favorite OnlyFans girls.
I'm out of this conversation.
I'm gonna clarify something, right? Yeah, I do not pay for porn, and I do not pay for anyone's OnlyFans. However, I do follow one or two girls on Twitter who post up some what do you call it, demo versions of the content what they post on their OnlyFans. But anyway, one of my favorite adult entertainment girls, a girl called Stormy Mayer. She is.
Do you know? I was getting shook, man. I thought you was talking about the other.
Yeah, same.
Relax. We can segue into that though. But I feel like I'm gonna put more emphasis on my girl Stormy in it. Yeah. She's a rapper / actress / OnlyFans model. She's actually in the movie Hustler, whatever called. You know the one with Jennifer Lopez when she was like a lap dancer. You guys forgot in the movie?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how could you forget that movie? You guys.
I've not seen it.
How have you not seen this? You need to you take your girlfriend and tell her, look, babes, I've got a really good chick flick to watch of you, and then put that on, and she's gonna find it so funny. But it's got a good story to it as well. But like, the other content is great. Anyway, she's releasing her EP, and her EP is called I forgot the name. That's bad, isn't it? Let me quickly check that. Oh, damn! I got to go on their page again. That's fun. It's called the Stormy Mayer EP, apparently. No, it's not. It's called Superhead EP. That's a great name. Superhead EP. So she's paying homage to Kevin Stephens. But yeah, so look out for that. And talking about OnlyFans, I'll let Manny bring this one in because he's the big man in there. But no, I'll let Ollie do actually because I think Ollie would probably be the best bet to bring this in because I know he's not misogynistic or anything. So, man, Ollie.
So a while ago, there was this young child who was on, I believe it was Maury, and she seemed to have some sort of. From what I could see, she was very angry, and she
liked the outdoors as well, didn't she?
Yeah, and
if you ever wanted to find her,
yeah, she made a catchphrase, very very famous, "Catch me outside." How about that?
How about that?
ever since that moment when she really was about that life, allegedly, she's kind of had the media or like the record labels trying to poach her and mold her into some sort of sellable person. And she now goes under the name or moniker Bad Barbie. And she's been in many controversies. I think she got into a fight with that Vicky lady.
Whoa, Vicky.
Yeah, whoa, Vicky. Another. To me, they're idiots.
Oh my god, I don't understand who Vicky is. Like, I get it with Catch Me Outside, why she's big, but I don't understand why Woe Vicky has this following that she has. It makes no sense to me.
It's because she was stunting and talking reckless, and I think people enjoy that.
And these people are clout chasers as well, man. They all like siphon clout off each other.
Yeah,
I remember that Bad Barbie outed 6ix9ine for trying to sleep with her as well. I remember that, or trying to move to her when she was underage.
Yeah. I've actually forgotten her real name because Bad Barbie's just been prominent. Anyway, I think she released a few singles or tracks. I think she tried to become an artist. But now that she's legally of the age and she's able to sell her body to people that want to view this content, she has now started her OnlyFans, and I believe she broke the record for most amount made in a day. I think she made $1 million or just over. Personally, I find this kind of weird. I don't know what else to say. Like I saw a discussion of people saying, like, from the moment you saw her on Maury, if you were fantasizing about her or thinking about her, and then you sign up to her OnlyFans, you're basically a pedophile. And I kind of get that and sort of agree. But anyway, guys, discuss.
Her name's Danielle Bugoli, by the way.
That's it. I knew it was Danielle. I knew it was that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get it wrong.
I think if you've been waiting to sign up to this content, you need to take a serious look at yourself in America, because that is fucking creepy. Like, it's weird, man.
Super weird. Super. I was gonna make a joke, but even then, it's not applicable right now. But it's odd. Odd behavior. Let the girl live. Let her. Like, she's 18. Like 18.
Okay, so I'm gonna speak on this now, and then I'm gonna play. Just to be clear, I'm playing devil's advocate and trying to get all sides of the story in, right? I'm not. These are not necessarily my views, but hear what I'm saying here, right?
These are not thoughts recommended at all.
And I will start off by just bringing in another famous case, if you like, right? So there was a rapper whose name sounds like Ryder. His name's Tiger, right? And when he was dating, he was around Kylie Jenner for a long time before she turned 18, right? And people don't know if he was sleeping with her before that or not. But my point is that whatever he was doing with her was started off before she was of a legal age, okay? And a lot of people at the time said that's wrong, and even now I still think it's wrong. And I feel like the whole situation is mad. However, again, the maddest part of that situation is the fact that he was seeing her, he was around her in her own home. So, like, basically, Kylie Jenner's mum was privy to whatever it was that was going on between her daughter and the guy that was like 10 years older, something like that. Anyway, so the concept that I was essentially taught around that whole situation was red shirting a girl. And red shirting is meant to be when an older man takes a fancy to a girl that is not quite of age, and he essentially says, like, look, that's my girl in the future, and like, it's no one can have that. Basically, it's mine. I'm taking care of her now, and in the future she's gonna be my girl, right? Now, for me, if all of these guys that paid their money to OnlyFans to subscribe to Bad Barbie's page, right? If all of them had that same sort of thought in their head for a girl that's 14 or whatever, however old she was when she was on Maury, and thought to themselves, "Oh, I would actually want to see this girl naked or whatever at that time," then that is absolutely fucked. I don't care how anyone tries to dress it up. That is messed up, right? That is fully messed up. However, I would also point out that she's been in the spotlight pretty much consistently for a long time now. So if people have decided from a more recent imagery, the more recent stuff that she's been doing, that they want to see her naked, then that is a bit more understandable. I can get that. But although I still think though that for her to have that many people that signed up to see her OnlyFans, I feel like there's a lot of suspect individuals on that subscriber list, and the FBI needs to go and search through their search history and probably even have a look through the computers to see what other sort of imagery they've got on there.
So right now you're promoting invasion of privacy, but
no, I'm not actually trying to promote Cardi B's album. And it was a joke, really. Like, I don't actually expect that to happen. But in America, the FBI can do whatever they want anyway. So, yeah. I think that it's a bit of a bad one, though. That's all I can say. It's a bit mad. $1 million. Like, do you know how many people must have subscribed to that?
It depends on how much the subscription price was.
Well, there's a lot of people that are just like. There's a lot of people that are just hungry, man. Hungry.
But it's like, what are you? I don't understand paying for that sort of stuff, because I could understand, like, when you got a lot of these sex workers, right, that do meetups, and they say, like, okay, you pay me, you have a much dollars, like $200, $1,000, whatever it is, right, and you can sleep with them, right? I can understand someone paying for that. If you see a girl online and you think, oh my god, she's like my fantasy woman, and I can just pay like $100 and sleep with her, fine. But why are you going to pay $10, $20, $50, $100 to just look at people's pictures? I don't get it.
See, there's more to than that as well. Like, I haven't seen it. I'm not going to see it. I'm never going to watch anything to do with any fans I pay for it. But we're also assuming that it's just something beyond lingerie pictures. It could just be her in lingerie. At which point,
that is still even if you saw a young girl and you said, I want to see her lingerie, that is still suspect, mate.
That's messed up. But also, another thing is, it could also be people that are around her age group and her peers. Like,
I'm gonna say, although it's possible, assuming like how money usually works, when you're younger, you have less money and less disposable income. So, although it's possible that it is those people when they're stolen their parents' credit cards to go pay for OnlyFans, it's still a bit unlikely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm just trying to like explore other avenues of what it could be, not to make it seem more palatable. Either way, it's wrong and it's messed up. But at the same time, let's not jump to conclusions. Although I do think it is the conclusion that I've jumped to.
So the question we have to ask now is, if OnlyFans has another leak, because it has a leak every couple of months, right? Is it bad if we look at Bad Barbie's photos?
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you know what you're looking at.
After that, it was a joke.
Oh, but also, like, I actually feel sorry for the people who have to. Actually, do I feel sorry for the people who have the contact link leaked? I do feel sorry for them, actually. But I don't actually agree with OnlyFans.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it wasn't initially designed around this, but this is what makes it the most amount of money.
But what about OnlyFans that you not agree with? Well, I don't really see the problem. There's a porn industry. I think it's actually great, because this is the truth of the matter, right? The porn industry, although the stars are the women, oh my god, I'm going to say this, innit? The women are always getting fucked over.
Oh my days!
But it's really bad. Like, to me, like, they are the stars. If you took all the women out of porn, the biggest part of the industry, obviously, of course, you've got gay porn as well, but the biggest part of the industry is the women, and they are always getting messed up by shady producers and stuff like that, and they're not getting paid right, whatever. Now, with this platform, they can go and just make their content by themselves or with their own partners or whoever they choose to do so with, and that's that. There's no middleman taking their money away from them, and I think that is a very powerful tool for them, and it also gives them more standing in the porn industry, because ultimately they do not have to bow down to anyone telling them this, that, or the other, because they could be like, okay, fine, you're not going to give me work here, or you're not going to pay me fairly here. Fine, I'm just going to go and do my thing on my own page.
Do you know what? I never actually looked at it from that perspective. And if you're comfortable with the idea of sex work, then I guess it actually makes a lot of sense, given the power to the actress.
The best way to view it, yeah, is to look at it as the same thing that music streaming has done for artists. It allows a lot of artists now to be independent and work away from a label, because at the end of the day, you don't need a record label to distribute your music. You just make it, record it, post it up online, and it's out there to the masses. Of course, you got to do your advertising yourself, but you don't need a record label the same way as before, when you literally needed them to press the CDs for you, to press the records for you. You don't need that anymore. You don't need that whole, you get what I'm saying?
It's that liberation. It's a liberation of that industry. Because I guess before, in order, I think that erotic industry operates in the same way as the record industry. They get young artists, chew them up, and spit them out when they're done with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really, like, the parallels are really similar. Like, there's obviously the stigma's completely different. One career is more celebrated than the other, but they both probably consumed about the same amount, if that makes sense. And as you've mentioned, streaming's made the barrier to entry very low. And in this instance, it's made the barrier to entry very low as well. And cream always rises to the top. So the best performers will make the most money on these platforms, whereas the worst won't.
That's true.
Yep.
That is true.
And you said something there, Manny, that was quite interesting, right? You said that the music industry takes in young people and chews them out. But you know what? In the porn industry, some of these women, they manage to stay around for a lot longer, like Lil Tjay.
I knew you was going to say that.
Oh my God. She was trending the whole of last week, man. It's cold. It's actually mad. I kind of feel sorry for her. She didn't know what was going on, but her name was just going crazy.
Was it because of Young Philly?
Yeah, because
he was getting dragged as well. That was hilarious.
I know. But yeah, anyway, let's not go back to that one again. But yeah, that was a nice little discussion. Shall we do another music review?
Boom, let's do it. Who else have we got?
Manny, it's your pick.
I will pick Lil Tjay, and I'm gonna start off with this here. When I first listened to this, whilst I was listening to this album, I must say offline, Matt, our resident troll, riled me up for this because he was trying to compare Lil Tjay to the future king of rap and R&B, Rod Wave.
Biggest piece of bullshit I ever heard.
No, that's the truth. He just ain't accepted it yet. Trying to compare Lil Tjay to Rod Wave, the Don. And yeah, I was like listening to it, and I had to stop and be like to myself, stop comparing, give this guy like some fresh ears. And I did, and it wasn't bad actually. It was really, it was a good project. It didn't set the world on fire, but like it wasn't terrible. It was just an okay project. Like I really liked his beat selection, his lyrical content. He had a nice flow. I liked the tracks with Lil Tjay, Tiger, and Sweetie Move. That was probably one of my favourites. Also liked Run It Up featuring Upset and Moneybag Yo. And Life Changed. What other one? And yeah, his intro, Destined to Win, I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, he is a really good artist, man. And I'll be listening out for him. Ollie Matt?
I'll go next. So I listened to this album before Matt made those wild statements in the group chat, and it's kind of weird because I was thinking, oh, this guy is sort of like the same camp as Rod Wave, like the same sort of sound. I put them in like the melodic rap category. But there was something about it that didn't really hit the same spot that Rod Wave did. And after a while, the whole album just became, like, to my ears, monotone. Like, it got to the point where by track 14, I was like, all right, cool, you've had your run, let's wrap it up now. And it kept going for another 8 tracks. Had like 3 bonus tracks that didn't really add much to the album. They're like 1:50 long each. That being said, the first like 14 tracks of the album were solid. They were good. Beat selection was good. Content was good. It just, after that, it just got kind of repetitive. So overall, it was a good album. I just feel like it could have been more focused, and I'm getting really annoyed with these 22-track albums, these 20-track albums that are over an hour long.
Yeah, big problem, man.
Like, if he just made this album like 30, 40 minutes long, it would have been so much better. Like, if he just like cut a lot of the nonsense. Like, some of the tracks are like under 2 minutes.
We keep saying it. It's like because they're forced for streaming. They just want to get the streaming numbers up.
Yeah.
30 to 40 is that sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, anything less than that can sometimes be too little.
It can be, unless you're Pusha T.
15-track albums, that's it. I'll say 10 to 15 tracks is what your album should be, and I'll say 12 is probably the sweet spot. But anyway, because 12, I think 12 allows you to have like a couple of interludes in there and still have 10 actual songs. But anyway,
bring in the interludes, man. We're missing that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the skits. I miss skits.
Key.
I miss skits as well.
And I still think our performance skits here are actually separate from the tracks, because sometimes you want to make a playlist, and on the playlist you don't want to hear the skit. You know what I'm saying? So if you can have the skit as like a 10-second track of its own, then just do that. Anyway, my view is this, right? 10 years ago? 10 years ago, probably a bit more than 10 years ago now. There was this artist that came out called The Weeknd, and he had this project called, I think it's called House of Balloons. I think that's his first one. But really and truly, I wasn't feeling it. That was just like some depression and shit. And I was just like, this is not my speed, and it's not what I want to hear. And everyone was going crazy for him. Everyone's going crazy. And I was like, the guy's, actually, that's a lie. I didn't think he was that talented to begin with. I realized how talented he was after, because of the fact that he kept doing it. But The Weeknd's not someone that I'm ever going to put in my top 10 list for anything, because that's just my preference, right? And then I think that maybe a year and a half later, maybe even 2 years later, another artist came out called Party Next Door, and their sounds were similar but not the same. But I loved Party Next Door. When Party Next Door first came out, it was crazy. He was coming out with the most amazing songs, and I just loved all of it. And I loved all of the stuff, even that he was giving to Drake, and that ended up becoming detrimental to his career because he gave away all of his biggest hits, basically. But at that time, the two artists were comparable. Obviously, now you can't compare them. The Weeknd is clear, and like that's fine. But I feel like that comparison between the two artists of similar style but different, different outlooks on their musical choice or sound, whatever. That can be had between Rod Wave and Lil Tjay. And I feel like whereas Rod Wave is this like guy that's always on a downer, Lil Tjay is someone that's a lot happier with life. And I prefer that sound personally. I don't like listening to depressive music. That makes me want to start self-harming or some shit like that. So
Rod Wave is not depressing music. That's street motivation shit. That's that street.
That's depressing, man.
No, you just
as I was listening to that music, I felt like the walls were closing on me.
Yeah, because you're a demon. That's why.
So anyway,
my man is speaking to your soul. Rod Wave, when I listen to that stuff,
maybe I'm an evil guy, and it was that. But all I can say is that this wasn't for me. But anyway, let's talk about Lil Tjay right now. I enjoyed the project, and to be honest with you, what I'm going to say pretty much echoes what Ollie said in the sense that it was a good project. Now, it was enjoyable, and for me, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the Rod Wave project. However, it did drag at the end. It was too long, and I don't know if it was his decision on the record label or whoever, but there's this thing now where everyone's saying just pack your album out, just make it as long as possible, put bonus tracks on it, do this, do that, just to get your streaming numbers up. And that's what he's done. So he's taken away the quality for this case of adding in quantity. So yeah, for me, I don't know, what's my standout song? I like Calling My Phone, that was a banger. Headshot was also a banger. I'm gonna say Calling My Phone was the best song. So track 3.
Okay.
And that's got Black on it. 6 Black.
Yeah, that was by far the best track, and I think it was because of Black.
Yeah.
But that is not to take away from Lil Tjay, because obviously 6 Lack is a crazy artist. So if you have him on, pretty much anyone that has him on their project, there's a very high chance that that's going to be the best song on the project. So yeah.
Yeah, I actually want to raise one more thing as well. Manny, in the chat, he was talking about the intros, the intro versus intro, and you didn't say what you was alluding to. But can you clear that up now? Because I actually went back and listened to the intros, and I want to know I want to know your thoughts.
I just felt as though Rod Wave's intro grabbed me a lot faster than Lil Tjay's one did. I think Lil Tjay's sampled Drake in a similar fashion to Rod Wave, but at least with Rod Wave's one, it came within the album, whereas this kind of just slams it into the top, kind of hoping that that's what's going to grab people because of the Drake sample, if that makes sense, whereas he's not really showing himself. Does that make sense? Like, at least Rod Wave had the bravery to be like, you know what, I'm going to show myself to the world first.
I can't accept that, because if Rod
You have to.
I'll say this, when Rod
You ain't got no choice, boy.
When Rod Wave did his sample, right, it was almost a cover track. It was like a remix of the original, right? This one's literally just sampled the beat.
It wasn't a remix, right?
I
don't know what your beef is with Rod Wave.
He's got the lyrics on Drake's song.
On Rod Wave. He's the Wave.
Lyrics on Drake's song in his song as well.
Take your little TJ and
so what you talking about?
stay incredible,
It's a
little
remix,
TJ, bro.
It's a remix.
It's all about Rod Wave. You get me?
Mate, if you're on the Rod Wave, that's on you, innit, bro, right? I'm not telling you not to be, but I'm saying in this song, not only he also samples the lyrics as well. And I'm saying
finally,
didn't
I'll
do
be
that.
resting in peace. Finally,
oh my God.
Finally.
It's all good.
That's all my days. I just want to hear that in the summer sometimes, just loud.
Wait. So when you said that in the chat, I thought you was trying to say Lil Tjay's intro was better. And I was like, this guy is bugging. So I played them both because Lil Tjay's is like a minute long. And Rod Waves is an actual track where it sets the entire mood for the album. And it's just flames. So I'm happy we're both on the same page. In fact, all three of us are on the same page. Where we agree that Rod Waves' intro is wavy and Lil Tjay's is calm. Put him.
I agree with you, I agree. Matt doesn't, though.
He really doesn't. Anyway, let's get some ratings in.
Is Matt even there? I don't know. I think he's disconnected.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to give your
ratings.
ratings.
Okay. I thought that Rod Wave talk washed you away. Okay.
I'm gonna stay quiet, innit? It's fine now. You keep doing it. The more you do it, you can carry on. And I'm gonna just do it to you guys in the future too. It's not a biggie.
Let's not monopolize the conversation, guys.
No, I'm gonna do that. Like, if I'm talking, you're gonna stay over me. Like, it's fine. Just carry on.
No, I had to sing because it came to me. The feeling. I had to sing to you. I just wanted to sing to you. I thought.
Inspired, bro.
I was inspired by what you were saying, and then I wanted to sing from my heart.
Okay,
my rating on Lil Tjay is a 3.
Okay.
Like it wasn't terrible. It was alright.
Yeah, it's a 3 for me as well. It was gonna be a 4, but those extra 8 tracks just bumped it down.
It's quite interesting because I see it as a 3 as well. So
what is happening today? No, screw that. This is a 5. This is a 5.
It's definitely not.
Give it a 5. I'm fine with that.
I'm joking. No, it's a 3.
Because honestly, I didn't think Word Wave's album was good, and I said that at the time. I gave it a 2, I think, and I think this is better. But I think it's a 3. I don't think it's a 4 or 5. But like I say, for me, I'm not a fan of melodic rap like that. Like when Drake does it, yeah, okay, but then he also has songs where he's actually spitting proper bars. But generally speaking, I want to hear bars, I want to hear lyrics, I don't want to hear people singing some shit with some like auto tune on top. So yeah, that's how I see it.
And generally, that's fair enough. I think we all have different tastes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we do. Some people like good music, some people don't.
Oh, here we go. Why do you have to end it with the flow? I was just trying, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be nice about it, but alright.
I think you shot Manny to death right there, Matt.
Looks like it. Anyway, let's go. What else are we discussing today? I feel like we've got some more news to discuss. Oh yeah, Manny, can you tell me about this documentary that's coming out?
There's a documentary that was purchased by Netflix to detail and show the life of one of the greatest minds of the 21st century, a mind comparable to Walt Disney, Steve Jobs.
Nah, to be fair, he's not far off, you know. Man's original.
You know what I mean? This guy's mind is just mad. Like, of course, I'm talking about the genius that is Kanye West. I think he's had 2 of his friends follow him over the last 20 years and documenting his good times and his bad times, and they've put together a film. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
I think it's going to be a very dry documentary, as most of Netflix's are. It's going to be a whole bunch of nonsense that's going to span 8 or 12 episodes, or between that. And on the final episode, in fact, on the penultimate episode, it's going to be something really cool. And then on the final episode, it's going to be like, so in conclusion, Kanye West is Kanye West. And it's going to be like, nothing was actually shown. Like Netflix's documentaries, like the Madeleine McCann one was just like...
That is the worst documentary I've seen in my life.
Yeah, it's just...
It was so jarring.
Like the first 2 episodes were good, and then it just like hovered around those first 2 episodes, talking a whole bunch of conjecture and just nonsense. Like I didn't care about the Portuguese detective who was obviously an idiot. Like it was just nonsense. So I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna say it's gonna be just like that, a bunch of nonsense.
I want to say this year about that Madeleine McCann documentary. I remember watching it and thinking to myself, oh my God, they found out what's really happened. This is mad. Like, look at the information they're giving you. And then they were like, the next episode, like, oh, they come with the dog, with that dog that can like smell cadavers. And he's like, he could smell some dead body in the house and shit. And I was like, this is mad. Like, this is, they've clocked it. And then the next episode is like, oh yeah, but the dog smelling something is really not foolproof. Like they fuck up all the time, and basically everything they showed you as being facts, the next episode basically said it's not facts, it's bullshit. And then they just come and present you more facts and said, oh yeah, it's not facts, it's bullshit, like Ollie said. So at the end, like you really did just waste like 5 or 6 hours of your day, of your life, watching some bullshit documentary. So yeah, I say what Ollie said basically.
The one thing you can actually take away from the McCann interview is that
The parents killed her. Anyway.
No, not that, but that they have computer technology that can, what's what I'm looking for, calculate what someone's going to look like with some degree of accuracy, and that there's been a lot of cases where kids have gone missing and they've been found many, many years later. And apparently this computer software that can calculate what someone's going to look like has played a hand in it. So that's the one thing you can take away from it. That, and also a lot of UK taxpayers' money was wasted on a bunch of nonsense.
Talking about missing kids, right? There's 2 things I want to say here. One of the things I want to say is that Roma Football Club, AS Roma, they had a thing. I don't know if they're still doing it now, but they were definitely doing it in the past 2 transfer windows. Basically, whenever they sign a player and they do like an announcement to it, they would also put up a picture of a missing person as well, missing kid, and from all over Europe. So they actually found a lot of missing kids through that. Because of the fact that it was getting a lot of exposure, yeah. That's a true story. The AS Roma Twitter is actually one of those Twitter accounts that they ban out people and stuff like that as well. So they got a bigger following than maybe the club size would suggest it should have. And so they use their reach and wide appeal to do some good. So I thought that was great. And the other thing, which is quite sad to announce, is that whilst we've been recording, Shade Bros put out some news that the body found in Epping Forest is formally been identified as Richard Okogore. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So that's a real shame.
Yeah, and for our international listeners, this has been a missing student that's been people have been looking for over the last week or 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, as Matt said, his body was identified in the forest in the UK, which is really, really sad.
Do you know what the saddest part of that is? If the police actually responded like swiftly to the mother's demands, as opposed to like social media pouring an outcry for the police to actually do their job, his life probably could have been saved.
Things like that, though.
Go on.
Oh, sorry, go on, Matt.
No, there's something that's, I don't want to become a theorist or anything like that, and obviously I want the mum to have her peace. But there's something that's really I'm struggling with, is that they said they found a body in a pond, right? And it hasn't been there that long. It could not have been there that long because we've seen pictures of him alive within the past week, I believe, right? But they had to identify it via post-mortem. I don't know what exact method they used, but essentially I'm assuming that whatever happened to him, his body was in a state that his mom couldn't just look at him and see that it was him. So I don't know what's happened there, but it sounds a bit fucked up. It's almost like it sounds like he'd been murdered. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, if he's unidentifiable, then that sounds like he's murdered. But wouldn't they be able to use like dental records or anything like that to identify him?
Exactly. Like, and okay, maybe because he's been underwater, maybe that's affected his facial features, maybe a little. But normally you just be able to look at someone and be like, yeah, that's my son, So
yeah, that's a bit dark anyway. Like I think rather than speculate, I think in this moment, I think it's probably right to just say,
yeah, it's not good to speculate.
Our condolences to the family.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, young man.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. And if people are struggling with anything, like, talk to your friends, talk to your family. Hey, look, even hit us up. We're back. Hit us up, man.
Yeah,
we're human beings as well.
Like, honestly, if someone sent us a DM about something like that, we would respond. Like, that is something that is a genuine thing. So we all got jobs and shit like that, but we're all humans as well, and we would try to help.
Yeah.
But yeah. Moving on. And I think it's something we've touched on a few times with regards to music, especially with drill music, but it's about music censorship and what's been going on with that recently. Like we've talked before about how was it Digger D has had to submit his music to the police before it gets released to ensure that it's not talking about anyone that's local to him. Stuff like that. He's not allowed to even go to certain places anymore as well. But in general, there just seems to be like a lot of censorship going on in the music. So the latest example is from YG. YG is like quite a big American rapper, I'd say, and his song is quite an old song now. I think it's from 2014. It's called "Meet the Flockers" from his My Crazy Life album. The song is about a couple of people that are going to rob houses to make money, and so they're flocking, right? And one of the lines that's been censored in the wake of the attacks on the Asian community is the line where he talks about picking out a home in the Asian community because they don't like using banks. They prefer to keep their money as cash. And he's had to, they've either muted the line, beeped it out, or he's had to re-record it or something. I don't know what they did to it. Manny, when you listen to the song today, what did you hear?
There was a line in that song where YG basically describes going to in a Chinese neighborhood to commit. Basically, the song's about him going to Chinese neighborhood. But
did you not listen to the song? Because I mean, like I don't know, did they just beep it out or what? Was it what he done with it?
So I think the version I listened to had the lyrics, but I also read the lyrics too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But anyway, my point here is that I don't understand why that has been censored, because the reality is this, right? He's not talking about something that he's actually done. He's not talking about this day in 2013 or whatever when I went and robbed someone's house in the Asian community. Nor is he saying that you should go and do it. He's just making up a fictional tale about someone robbing someone's house. That's what he's done.
You have to be... Everything has to be in context, right?
Yeah. So
in America, at this moment in time, there's a lot of racial tension in different communities.
In 2021, the song was recorded in 2014.
It doesn't matter. Look, at the end of the day, if someone listens to that song, what YG is describing is violence against the Asian community.
Okay.
Like, it's in context with everything that's gone on with the shootings that have occurred in Asian businesses. Like, this song just doesn't need to exist. That's my opinion.
Okay, so should we go back then and censor all the music back in history, which has ever said that there should be violence against any type of people, or should we go back and censor all the music that says, oh, gay people this or gay people that? Is that what we should do?
I think there's a movement at the moment where that kind of activity is happening. The honest truth is, like, if you don't live in someone else's shoes, you can't really diminish their feelings towards that subject.
That is not a thing at all. I'm not disputing that bit, right? I'm not disputing how someone feels about a situation. But then my point is here that this is not telling people to go and rob people's houses. The same way that when you watch The Godfather, it's not telling you to go and become a gangster and do organized crime. And if it is doing that, why is that film not being censored? Because there's no difference between a rapper making up a story about robbing someone's houses and a screenwriter making up a story about robbing someone's houses as well. There could be a film about a burglar, but that would be fine to have out in the cinema. But it's not okay to do a song about it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
I think I agree with you in the sense that the rules for cancel culture aren't clear. Like, there's no clear rules at the moment. Like, but equally at the same time,
why is music given this pedestal that So why is music given this level of scrutiny that films aren't?
I guess. Wait, in that sense, I'll disagree with you there. I feel like films are like, if we look at like the sort of like minstrel films and like Disney films back in the day, where there was a load of racial, stereotypical characters that represented like black people doing stereotypical minstrel like things. Um, like a load of those things are now censored, right? But again, in this modern time, like for example, this YG, I guess I'm not understanding here and why that song. But are there any like, I don't know if there's another example I can compare it with. That's my only thing.
I would say if you're going to do this to that track, then you need to really look at a lot of stuff, like a lot of Eminem's discography, and start redacting that sort of stuff.
That's a good point.
And to be fair, what he was describing in the track was just something that he knows as familiar information in his circumstances, right?
No,
So-
you can't even say that, Ollie. You can't. For all you know, he just made it up completely. That's the point I'm saying here. Is that why is it that when a rapper says something, it must be something that's factually true? Why can't it just be them flexing their creativity? Kendrick
That's
Lamar
true.
has a song about it as well, about robbing someone's house.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and no one thinks,
Smashing
oh, well, Kendrick Lamar left it. Kendrick Lamar might have actually been robbing people's houses as well. We don't know what he was doing before he got money. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that we accept that it's creativity being demonstrated. The same way that when Martin Scorsese is making these epic gangster films, it's just a piece of creative brilliance. It's not real. You know what I mean? So I just the censorship thing just really bugging me. It just bugs me a lot because why is it being handled in such an unfair manner? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's what I was going to say. I agree with it.
Yeah, and that resonates with me as well. Like, why is it the unfair aspect of it? But again, I would say that there's context behind everything, right? There's context behind why people would dislike this song, especially in light of the anti-Asian abuse. The abuse that Asian minorities have been getting, especially in the US as well as in the UK as well.
Okay, man, and yeah, you're right with that, right? And it's true that it's really bad. So then, what they should also do is that when a film comes out, which is showing a lot of violence on black people or black people being oppressed, that should be banned too. You know what I mean? There's also stuff that you can say that doesn't happen, which anyway, I won't argue it anymore. I won't argue it.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't think there's an argument to be had. Like, I think I'm singing off you. I agree with you in the sense that, like, the criteria for cancelling cultural items isn't really clear.
But I feel like this isn't even a cancel culture situation though, because it's just the platforms that have decided to remove it. It's not I haven't seen at least a concerted effort from any source that's saying it must be taken down or I mean, I haven't seen like a hashtag going around saying cancel YG or you know what I mean. So
it's an interesting one. It might just be again because of the context of what's happened. Like, let's look at what music has encouraged that behavior, and the only source they can find is YG, and maybe that was an ill-informed choice, like
the way that the guy
weird.
I doubt the killer or the attacker was that's like, fuck it, man, I'm gonna bang out my crazy life today. Like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna go and beat up some Asian woman. Maybe that is what happened. I don't know, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what happened either. But again, like, until platforms are more transparent with their decision making, it just leaves everything for us to kind of guess and understand, and for us to kind of guess what the criteria is. Because when a platform like that makes that decision, it's never usually fair across the board. Like we can look at Wiley, for example, versus a Katie Hopkins or Tommy Robinson. I'm not saying what Wiley did was right. I'm talking about the reaction. Like it's very different, if that makes sense.
What he did was definitely wrong, but it's the fact that it was the one time he'd ever been flagged as doing anything like that, and he was banned. Whereas Katie Hopkins has been doing it like every day for years, and she's still on social media now. And also the fact that he did something on Twitter, he had his breakdown, his whatever on Twitter, and then he was banned from YouTube, from Facebook, from Instagram. I'm like, what? I've never seen that before. I've never seen someone banned from one platform and then get simultaneously banned from everything else at the same time. I've never seen that. Like it's like it was weird. I didn't even think Wiley was even big enough to even get that level of attention from these platforms either, to be honest with you. But it did happen. But yeah. Anywho, are you gonna give us your interpretation, your impression of Tion Wayne's recording process?
That was it, really.
Oh man, that was sensational. Magnificent.
Thanks. That was quite a cool clip, wasn't it?
Yeah, so basically he put out, I don't know if he put it out or someone else put it out, but they basically showed how he recorded his verse for his song with Russ Buddy. And what he did was he just made noises, gibberish noises, but showed the flow and kind of see what to use for his song. And I thought that it was pretty decent how he did it. I just didn't think it was made that way.
And then there was a lot of songwriters in the comments saying
it's done that way.
Yeah, that's how it's done and stuff.
It's not surprising though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like nowadays, more than ever, people are less bothered about the lyrics and they want to hear more about how someone just sounds, how they flow, and whatever, how it read the beat. And that is what Tion Wayne is good at. So to hear that he goes for the sound and flow first, and then essentially tries to match up lyrics to go with it, it's not unexpected, I guess, but it's not something I knew that they specifically did. And it fits very well with how, like I said, how modern music is made. So yeah.
Well, my bit that I liked is he had a pre-notion. He had thoughts for his ad libs already before he actually it just when he's doing his mumbles, he's like at some points he's like the ops haters. And then, I just thought that was pretty interesting because that's just like, all right, cool. Like, you can already hear what this beat should sound like.
They already know what the people want. That's what it is. They want to be able to ad lib. That's one of the reasons why the Migos took off so much as well. Remember, but they were popping mad.
Yeah.
We would love the ad libs, even more so than arguably knowing the actual lyrics to the song.
That's true.
Bad and Bougie, people would love the ad libs on that song. When Offset come in with his bit and everyone's like, it's like a dog, everyone's fucking woofing, weren't they? So, yeah, anyway, my point is that music is crazy. It's a weird time right now. And I feel like a lot of OG rappers will probably be disgusted by hearing stuff like this. But it's just how it is now. This is the industry now. This is the processes that we follow now. So yeah. It is what it is. Anyway.
What albums do we have
another
left?
album. Yeah. There's only one left. Man like Rockie Fresh.
Do you want to take us through?
Oh, alright. You want to do it, Ollie, or should I?
You go.
Yeah, you go.
Alright, so my guy, the MMG Fallen Soldier, Rockie Fresh, he came back with another one, Slid Through Part 2, because obviously, last year, was it midway last year or late last year, he came through with an album called Slid Through Just Show You What's Up, I think it's called. And that was a banger. Everyone, when we reviewed it, everyone enjoyed it. It got a really high rating. I think it got a 4. And I think it was like a unanimous 4 as well. And I think we said it could have been a 5 with some minor tweaks. But anyway, he's come back through. It's a whole new album. It's 10 tracks, 25 minutes. So album, EP, whichever way you want to call it. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good quality throughout. Got quite a few good songs on there. And at no point did I think to myself, this album has dropped its level of quality. And this is what I've always thought about Rockie Fresh. He's always had this in him. For whatever reason, he was unable to show it during his time on Maybach Music Group. But he's really showing it now. And I think that it's only a matter of time before he gets signed off again to another label. Because right now he's still independent. My favorite track was either Racer or 200 That's Too Late. Although saying that In Too Deep and Home were really good too. And the funny thing there is that In Too Deep that features 24 hours. So this is what I say. I do like 24 hours, but maybe his calling is more as someone as like a feature artist rather than releasing his own projects. What did you guys think?
I didn't enjoy it. So I was kind of disappointed. The first half was just not for me. The second half was good. It felt like it didn't have the same level of polish or just consistency as his last project that we listened to. That being said, 200 at Soul and Racer are my favorite tracks. And
Racer's in the first half of the album.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That was one track that stood out from the first half. I need to listen to this again. Like I just couldn't take it in. I couldn't take it in. Like it just felt like his sound was missing, but it could have just been me. I just couldn't get on board with this, and it's a shame because I was looking forward to it as well. I left it until the last album, and then Manny dropped Tems on me. But just didn't enjoy it.
I think you definitely need to listen to it again. And before we go any further there, I listened to Rod Wave again because I was told that I listened to it wrong, whatever, and I didn't take it in properly. When I listened to it again, my view was that although I did think it was better than the first time I listened to it, I still wasn't feeling it. So yeah, it's worth listening to it again. No, that's what I did. I do think that you should think again sometimes because it could be a situation, it could be how you're thinking at that time that it doesn't fit with the mood you're supposed to be in to enjoy the album. For example,
you know, when someone waits on bated breath, that's how Matt just had me. I was like, holy shit. And the end of the pod, he's about to say he was a fan.
I wasn't even trying to do that, man. I wasn't even trying to do that. It's just a case of it is what it is, and it's nothing too special there, mate.
Fair.
Anyway, but I also, that's one thing, that album did go to number 1. It sold over 100,000 copies. I think it's 4,000 physical, but it's with streaming included, it did 113,000 copies, which is incredible, really.
Yeah, most of that came from me, to be fair.
I don't think you count for the American charts, but yeah. Anyway, Manny, what was your review for?
I thought it was okay. It was really short, 24 minutes.
Or 24 hours.
It was 24 hours, yeah. No, it was 24 minutes. We had some nice appearances from Vic Mensa, who's like now becoming like a favourite. New Vic Mensa, of course. I'm not gonna lie, like there's not really much to say. Like it was okay. Like it was. I didn't like the 24 hours appearance as well, especially after everything we've just said. I don't really get much from this. I probably need to listen to it again. I'll give it that courtesy, but on the initial play, there was not really much for me.
Was it too many syllables in lyrics for you or something?
No, it wasn't even. Would you say Dave is a lyrical rapper?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Dave. So that means there's no problem with lyrics.
African, that's why.
Dave is an African.
Dave.
Yeah.
Dave
is he African?
Yeah, bro.
You taking the piss? He's Nigerian.
I thought Dave was Jamaican.
No, he's Nigerian, bro.
Makes sense. I don't think he's.
He's your fellow West African brother. That's why you love him so much.
Oh boy, I'm gonna love him even more now. Jeez. Anyway, yeah, Rockie Fresh. It wasn't really for me, to be honest.
Fair enough.
What's that?
Alright. What was your stand? Oh, did you even have a standout song, or was it just like not really up to scratch?
David's really Nigerian. Holy shit.
Yeah, bro.
Did you have a standout song?
Yeah, I named them. If I had to settle them on, it would be 200 at Soul.
Sure, it's not. Okay, cool. Alright. Alright then, what was your ratings then, guys? Let's spit it out.
2.
2.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't get bored of this.
I'm not arguing with it. Cool. And Manny? 2 for you, 2.
What projects have I rated a 2? 24 hours. I rated it a 2. Yeah, I'll give it a 2 as well. Keep it consistent.
Okay. I feel like this might be my last day on the pod because I can't deal with you guys, man. Oh my god.
No, we've agreed on everything so far
I
this
was
week.
at a 2. I don't understand how you listen to this album and see this as a 2.
Okay, do you know what? It's a 2 with an asterisk. It might get rated better different.
I get it. That everyone has different sounds and different ears and whatever, man. I'm gonna just be understanding. But I am fucking confused. Anyway, it's a high 3 for me, and I think not a 4, but it's a high 3. A 4 means that it's as good as the last one, and it wasn't that. So yeah. I guess, is there anything else to discuss on this week's pod?
Nah, I don't think there is. It's been a good pod.
Yeah.
Manny, do you want to hit us with the socials?
Of course. So, socials are EarSauce _ on Twitter and Instagram. Follow myself, Emmanuel Yates 90 on Twitter. Ollie.
Yeah, you can get me at OC_Clark _10 on Twitter. Matt.
And you can find me at Mr. Matty Lee on Twitter and at Mr_Matty Lee on Instagram. I also feel like we probably need to point out the fact that our fellow compatriot at EarSauce Afia, she's no longer with the pod. She's actually decided to leave, so it's unlikely that we're going to see her on at any time soon, but maybe one day she might decide that she wants to pop back up and join in for a pod here or there, but as an ongoing thing, do not expect to hear her on our weekly sessions. Alright, so farewell, young Afia, and the pod carries on. So yeah, on that bombshell, good night. Okay, well, fuck it, that one went down.
Peace out. Peace
out.
Later.
The EarSauce Podcast.